The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. Deputies were led on a wild manhunt in Bakersfield last night, and it all started with a double homicide. They got word of a shooting just after 5 p.m. in South Bakersfield. When they arrived, they found 2 men shot to death. A short time later, there was another shooting, this one in central Bakersfield. There, deputies arrested a man with a gun. They also learned that the man had stolen a car and shot the driver. The driver survived. The man was also identified as the suspect in 2 deadly shootings from earlier last night. He faces numerous felony charges, including murder.
A man was stabbed to death after barging into someone's home yesterday afternoon on Plavada Drive in northeast Bakersfield. Police say the man broke in to attack another man. That man grabbed a knife and stabbed the intruder to death. We have new details this morning on an officer-involved shooting in South Bakersfield. The district attorney's office says the suspect, Juan Campos Jr., experienced a medical issue yesterday and has been unable to make his scheduled court appearances. KCSO says Campos shot into a home on Casa Loma Drive on Saturday night while trying to break in, and when deputies arrived, he pointed a gun at them. KCSO has not said how many deputies opened fire, but Campos was struck at least once and taken to the hospital. No deputies were hurt.
U.S. Marshals say a man who killed an innocent bystander in Bakersfield 4 years ago has been arrested after trying to re-enter the U.S. from Mexico. From a shootout that broke out in East Bakersfield back on Valentine's Day in 2019. A man who was shopping at the Pee Wee Market was killed in the crossfire. Investigators say 25-year-old Antonio Maldonado was involved in the shooting, and he was taken into custody yesterday near the U.S.-Mexico border. It's been 12 weeks since a deadly crash south of Bakersfield involving 2 Bakersfield police officers. The accident left a man dead and a woman severely wounded. Yesterday, a lawsuit was filed against the city on behalf of the victims and their families. 17's Michaela Armstrong has more.
Details are still unclear about what happened January 19th on South Vineland and Muller Roads in the crash that left 1 dead and 3 injured, including 2 Bakersfield police officers. CHP won't even confirm who was driving the police car or how fast the officers were going. But attorney Daniel Rodriguez, representing the families of the victims in the crash, Mario Lares and Ana Hernandez, says the evidence speaks for itself.
From all the evidence that we have thus far, the information we've been able to gather, it's pretty clear cut. They didn't have the overhead lights on, didn't have the sirens on, blew the stop sign, and was speeding. And that's not the first time.
According to Rodriguez, his office has handled 2 other cases like this in the past 5 years and says that the city must take accountability.
I wonder how many other cases there are, if I know of 2 of them in the last 5 years. That's not acceptable. There are consequences to our choices. It's that simple. Justice is not complicated.
Mario Lares, who died in the crash, was buried in Mexico by his family. But his family plans to bring his body back to Bakersfield to honor his plans to spend his life here with his wife, like they always wanted to until his death. Ana Hernandez, who survived the crash, is in a wheelchair and suffers from major injuries, including her head. But Rodriguez says she is building towards recovery.
She's quite the fighter. She's doing everything she can to get back on her feet and try to adjust to this new normal.
As for the officers, according to BPD, both have been placed on administrative leave since the crash. Michaela Armstrong, 17 News.
Making news around the nation, a federal appeals court blocked part of a judge's ruling yesterday, which could endanger access to the abortion pill mifepristone. The appeals court granted the Justice Department's emergency request late yesterday, saying it would expedite its full consideration of the case. The Justice Department can still ask the Supreme Court to intervene in an attempt to completely block the judge's ruling. However, the administration would need to win the votes of at least 5 of the 9 justices on the court, which has a 6-3 conservative majority. President Biden and Danco, the maker of Mifeprex, which is the brand version of mifepristone, have also filed requests to put the judge's ruling on hold.
Senator Dianne Feinstein is seeking to have the Senate allow another Democratic senator to temporarily serve on the Judiciary Committee. The move comes as concerns are growing over Feinstein's lengthy absence, which is believed to be hindering Democrats on confirming judges. The 89-year-old California Democrat holds a pivotal vote on the Judiciary Committee. However, she has not cast a vote in the Senate since February. Feinstein announced during her absence that she was hospitalized and recovering from shingles. She has not provided an estimate on her return to Washington.
The trial of Jacqueline and Trezell West, the California city couple accused of murdering their adopted sons, Orrin and Orson, continues again this morning. Yesterday, we heard from the boys' former foster mother on the witness stand. Latoya Sanders says she fostered the boys for about a year, and although she didn't give birth to them, she told the jury she loved them as if they were her own. Sanders testifying that the boys were removed from her home after an unfounded accusation regarding her biological daughter. Sanders says she had begun the process of adopting Orrin and Orson when they were removed from her custody, and she says she never faced criminal charges regarding allegations of abuse. 17 News has been following this case since the very beginning. Court reporter Jason Katowski is providing live updates from the courtroom on our Twitter account. You can find his full coverage of the West trial on our website, kget.com.
In other court news, a man who said he shot and killed 2 people because he was mad had his hearing postponed yesterday. Vicente Nico Williams is being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. The charges stem from an incident last summer at the Vagabond Inn in South Bakersfield. According to court documents, Williams admitted to the shooting and said he did it because he was mad. He was due in court yesterday for a hearing, but it was pushed back to next month.
5:36 now. 2 mysterious deaths turned a central Bakersfield neighborhood on its head. The unexplained deaths happened more than a year ago, but Bakersfield police say the investigation has never stopped. 17's Marco Torres has been following this case since last year.
65-year-old Bobby Lynn Swanson and 71-year-old Amanda Lee Watring lived at this home on H Street in central Bakersfield for years. Neighbors we spoke with a year ago say they were quiet and friendly. However, they were found dead in this home, but they weren't discovered quickly.
You can obviously smell them. I saw the crows going around, you know, like in a circle. Right here. We seen all those, but we didn't know until the cops came and took them.
How long do you think it was until they found her?
I say about a good month. And she was already dead, broke dead.
Neighbors said police didn't come home for weeks, even after complaints about the horrible smell. And neighbors said even then, police didn't act until looters gutted the residence for days.
2 mornings we've seen people come out. I called the police one day. They had a clear tub, big plastic tub, full of stuff. So I called the police, but the guy was gone. And then they did it again the next morning.
The coroner removed the bodies last March, a year ago. The coroner didn't release the names until today after we asked. Swanson was buried at the Bakersfield National Cemetery as part of the Unaccompanied Veterans Program. It's a program to bury vets who have no next of kin. Swanson served in Vietnam as an Air Force sergeant. Originally, Bakersfield police reported a woman and a man were found dead inside the home. That man was confused for Amanda Lee Watring. Watring, originally identified as William Gregory Watring, but legally changed their name in 2008. The city declared their home abandoned last month and declared it a public nuisance. It was demolished this week. Trash, pill bottles, junk, and scorched debris is all that's left.
Homeless people break in, even though they're board and secure. They know how to rip the boards off, get in. They build little fires to cook their food, fall asleep, and then the house catches on fire.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.